Hello, everybody. This is Hourglass reporting live from Atlanta, Georgia. I want to introduce you to your host, Felix Zeltner.
Thank you so very much for opening us up here. Man, I feel so relaxed right now with some live jazz here on Dubai Future Horizons, presented by the Dubai Future Foundation and Remote Daily. We're so happy to have you with us today. I'm Felix. I have the honor to hosting you live from New York City. And of course, we want to know where you are joining from. We want to know where you are right now out there in the world. Please let us know in the chat. We already see Madrid has joined us. We already see Lagos has joined us. London is here, but no rain. Well, good for you. And we hope to read in the chat if you are from Athens, from Brooklyn, from South Africa, from India, from Karachi, from Johannesburg, Cairo, from, of course, India, Pune, Jakarta is here, Dubai, Nigeria, Uganda, Lahore, Sri Lanka, Brazil, Lagos, Calgary, of course, welcome back, Sabrina. Dublin is here, Peshawar, China. Wow, what an amazing global gathering. And I want to give a special shout out to all our community partners today, UNICEF and Uchenti, Teaching the Future, and many others who have come together and invited their friends and family. We are live here on Zoom, and we're also live out there on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining for the first part of the hour. If you want to meet the community, come over to Zoom. It's a little bit more cozy here. And here on Zoom, of course, I encourage you to leave your cameras on, share your presence with one another. I can see Lori, Abdulmin, Gioti, Mazar, Kawaja, Manish. Thank you all for switching your cameras on already. Thank you for sharing your presence with us. And shout out to Kenya, just joined. Namaste from Nepal, Mount Everest. Wow, Samir, that's pretty cool. That's the first. Karachi, Afghanistan. Of course, we have Nigeria in the house from Lagos and Abuja. We have Turkmenistan here. It's just an amazing global community coming together. And our topic today is in conversation with the next generation. What really matters for our future? Another big topic here on Dubai Future Horizons. And today we are discussing between and with generations here on the show. And we want to know, why are there so few young people in foresight? We want to know, what are they contributing right now? Where did they see challenges? How can youth be better integrated into this realm, into this work, into this craft of foresighting and futuring? And should futuring be mandatory for the upcoming generation? And if so, what does that mean? This and many more things we're hoping to discuss with you today. And if you are maybe a little new to Zoom, the Zoom menu down there gives you a whole lot of options. You can activate the chat, as many of you are doing right now. Shout out to Liberia, to Toronto, to Togo, who have just joined. And you can react. You can use your reactions button, send some hearts, or maybe raise your hand later on. You can also, and we're going to try this in a few seconds, you can also of course, switch your camera on, share your presence, and switch your mic on to say hi to everybody. We will ask you to do that in just a minute. Before that, though, I have the special honor to welcome somebody who is very important for Dubai Future Horizons, and the purpose of Horizons that connects you with researchers, with foresighters, with everyone who futures from around the world all year round. So you grow your tribe, you ask your questions, you enjoy live music and mindfulness, and then you hopefully meet at the Dubai Future Forum in person, which is about to happen. It's just under 2 weeks now. I can't believe it. And the curator of the forum, who's not sleeping right now, who's working day and night with her team, is here. Welcome back to Horizons, Iman Al-Qadi. Iman, I see you're
Hello.
awake.
Very much so. I'm not sure I have a choice at this moment in time, but yes, nice to see you all. Super excited for what's to come over the next Did you say less than 2 weeks? Oh God, yes, less than 2 weeks. We have a massive countdown in our office that says 11 days to be very precise. So yes, super excited.
And Carl just posted in the chat, excuse me, Kai just posted in the chat, I'll be at the forum. Anyone else? Yes, lots of people here in the session are going to attend. Please respond to Kai so we can see you, as Caitlin and Manish already did. Eman, integrating youth into foresight takes center stage at the forum this year. You have a whole pillar of the event called Empowering Generations. But how do you actually do it? Like, how are you taking on this momentous task that we're basically discussing today?
I mean, to be honest, various ways. We started sort of a collaboration of some sort last year with UNICEF and with the School of International Futures, as well as with Teach the Future, various sort of youth foresight groups, people that do incredible work to make sure that young people get a voice at the table. So we started collaborating with some of these key youth groups and just brought them into the conversation. I think sometimes young people just not only need to be seen, but they need to be heard. And so we've started finding ways throughout the agenda to integrate young people into sessions to make sure that they're not just participants, but they are also provided an opportunity to be speakers, to be hosting sessions. So throughout this whole year, it's been a year-long process from last year's forum to this year's forum to ensure that young people have the opportunity to help us curate the agenda to make sure that there is that youth perspective in the agenda. We called on some youth, the UNICEF Youth Foresight Fellows, as well as some of the other youth groups to be able to give us ideas for this year. We then spoke to them to figure out what sessions would make sense. And then, as you said, more broadly, empowering generations, ensuring that that theme is center stage, finding ways that we can inspire young people to ensure that that generation isn't being lost. But I will also say that empowering generations, as much as it is about young people, and interestingly, that's what most people say or think, it is also about ensuring that all generations that don't have a voice or sometimes are not being heard will be heard. So we have to not forget the groups of 80, 90, 100-year-olds who sometimes are also left behind as a result of there being so much focus on the younger generation. So we have to ensure that all generations are being empowered in the process of thinking about the future.
Wow. Okay. I'm
No
very
pressure,
much looking
Felix.
forward to it. No pressure at all. What do you hope happens today, Eman, in this hour?
I really just want people to meet, have fun, get excited about the forum. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time that we bring all these young people together in the podcast. So I'm here to listen, to be an observer. Hopefully we get it right this year, but if we don't, always give us the feedback because that's how we learn as a community, as a forum organizer. We're here to serve that community. So if it's not for things like this podcast, we'd never know how to be able to respond to that community. So thank you, Felix.
Well, thank you, Eman. And you had a special idea for today that is connected to a pen and paper. Do
Yeah.
you actually have your pen and paper ready with you right now? Or
No,
of
I
course not.
don't. Of
So
course not.
if you are like Eman and you're thinking, what? I
Yeah.
needed a pen and paper for the session. Yes, that was your only homework to arrive here with a pen and paper. And if you don't have one next to you right now, get it right now and get it ready for later. You have a Sharpie so that we can see what you're writing on your paper, have maybe a little bit of a bigger paper slip that you can hold into the camera. We would like to create a moment together today where we can share messages physically in writing, and we can also come and join us on stage and share your message later on. So, Eman, please get that pen and paper.
I
Will you?
will.
And
I will run to get one. I have a
okay.
lipstick. Does that help? No, it doesn't help, but I'll go get a pen and
You
paper.
guys write on the
So,
camera. That would be cool.
when I thought of this idea, I actually, yeah, I should have registered that I would have, yeah, should have brought a pen and paper. But I did think about this idea because I think a lot of times that young people are sort of associated with AI and the latest technologies, but sometimes you got to just bring it back to basics. And that's how we all started when when we were young, or I'm still young, obviously, but when we were starting to write, we started to write with a pen and paper. And fun fact for you, we do have a speaker this year at the forum that does not have a cell phone. So just think about that. Just think about, reflect on that as
May I
you
ask
use
why?
your, he does, he says when, oh, I've just given away, he said he, but when he leaves his house, that's it.
That's it.
He's, he's not available. He is out to do something. He is not available to talk on the phone. So if you wanted to speak to him, it's a
Okay.
landline, my friend. Does anybody know what a landline looks like anymore?
Okay,
Yeah.
enough of old
So
people
there you
talk
go.
here. We're gonna say hi to the guests now. Thank you, Iman. And hey, what if we didn't take our phones into the forum, says Manish, if we are truly present and immersed? What would happen then? Exactly, that's a great question. And I'm so excited to kick off our intergenerational conversation today in the virtual space where we can give access to everybody with close to 100 people joining us on Zoom right now and many, many out there on LinkedIn as well. Please use the chat as well. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Now, let's welcome our guests. First up, the Director of Youth Innovation and Technology at Teach the Future, Amna Habiba. Amna, so great to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Felix. So excited to be here. I'm Habiba with Teach the Future, and I run youth programs for our organization. And I'll be joining DFF in person. So if you're going to be there, we'll be super excited to meet you.
And you're also a student in Amna. Please
I am
explain it to
also,
me.
so that's my second life, Felix. I didn't know you wanted me to talk about that. So I am an undergraduate student at the University of Toronto pursuing a specialization in molecular biology with a minor in chemistry and a certificate in sustainability just to get that extra check marks.
Sure.
And I am hoping to go into research. Let's see how that goes.
Fantastic.
And hopefully in cancer research. And those are very two different areas. So I work with Teach the Future with youth programs, and I am a student outside of this. So
And you're in the lab a lot,
I'm in the
molecular
lab. I am
biology.
a research
Wow.
assistant right now in the Department of Biology doing genomics research. So if that's an area of interest, I love talking about that for hours. I could
I think
talk
at the forum you will meet quite a few peers, and it's amazing to have a futurist like you who's also a scientist. And I'm so happy that you're here in your own story, being in Canada right now, hailing from Pakistan. You're combining so many cultures alone, and our panel today, I think, combines 5 continents at least. Next up is the co-executive director, your colleague from Teach the Future, Lourdes Rodriguez. Lourdes, it's an honor to have you on Horizons today. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm seeing in the participants so many friends from This the Future and colleagues. So excited to our conversation.
Amazing. And I think you're sort of representing the Europeans on the panel. I think you speak at least 3 languages that are spoken in Europe, live in various countries there. So welcome. And
Thank you.
now I have the honor to introduce the Community Engagement Officer at UNICEF, Innocenti Fisayo Oyabali. Fisayo, representing Lagos here. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Felix. I'm so excited to be here. So I'm the Youth Foresight Community Engagement Officer at UNICEF Innocenti. I work with lots of young people. And some of the young people that we have in our over 7,000 community are also here. I see familiar names and faces. And I'm really looking forward to diving into the conversation and also, taking questions from the community.
A shout out to all the familiar faces here that you were able to drag along into the session. Thank you all for taking the time. And Fisayo, just as a note, you, like Amna, you're also doing something on the side called going to school, right? What are you researching on at the moment? Fisayo, what is your field of research at the moment? What are you doing next to all your futurist work?
I heard Amna and I thought that was for Amna. Then Amna was not coming on. Then I realized that's me.
All good.
So on the side, outside of UNICEF Innocenti, I'm an independent consultant. So I work at the intersection of technology, youth engagement, food system. Food system also happens to be my background. I'm going to be sharing about that in a bit. And I use foresight to tie all of this together. So I work with researchers. I work with anyone looking to have some things done in food systems, applying foresight to that area, and a bit of AI for development on the continent.
Fantastic. And I have to say that this session I'm so excited about also because there's such a strong presence here from your continent. And we can see that in the chat also. Dunya just said hi, computer science student at Ashesi University, Ghana, but from Chad. That's so cool. Thank you and for being here, Dunya, and for everybody who is from Fisayo's part of the world. And we're going to try something now that I call crashing Zoom together, basically, because we do something that is usually not allowed whenever you're in a virtual classroom or you're in a virtual seminar. Always be on mute, never do anything that's not supposed to do on off mute. And we're going to ask you to do exactly that. So we are going to ask you now to switch on your microphones. You heard that right. And I mean everybody, if it's comfortable for you right now. And also switch on your cameras. And we're going to say hi to each other from all around the world in whatever language you prefer. We're going to switch the spotlights off so we can all be on stage together. And you can switch to the gallery view. So you're going to see now people from all around the world. And be loud, be proud, say hi. Hello, Horizons out there.
Bye.
Hello, I'm from India.
Hello.
Bye,
Hello, hello.
Hussein.
Say hi.
Hey, Viva.
Whatever language you prefer.
Hello guys from Nigeria.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I heard so many languages already. Hi, keep it coming.
Hessisch reden, bisschen
Of
Hessisch
course.
babbeln.
Yes, regional dialects from Germany are also welcome. Now we're
And
going
Marathi
to...
from India.
Hello, hello, hello. Anybody else who wants to pop
Hello
in?
from Kenya.
Hello.
Hello from Nigeria. Hello from Uganda.
Hello.
Hello from
Hello.
Uganda.
Hello from Turkmenistan.
From Nigeria.
Hello, everyone from
Good
Russia.
morning. Hello from Uganda.
Wow,
Some
hello
people
from
Colombia,
India and so many other places.
still have your
Ciao from
microphones on
Italy, hi from Brazil, even in the chat. So we're now going to
Everybody's
try the
talking
mute all
very
button, Liz,
respectfully,
our producer. Let's see how that worked. Boom, that's Zoom magic. Thank you. Thank you all who just said hi. Thank you all who share their presence here. We really appreciate you. And we have something special here for you because these are stressful times. And these are times when many of us who are not maybe like me, able to just drop their phone somewhere and go somewhere else. Like I'm still processing that story. So for all of you who maybe, are looking for a moment of peace and mindfulness and just getting a breath of fresh air, that is what we have right now for you right here on Horizons. We have Karis Timol, our mindfulness guide, and we're just going to give you a minute to stretch and breathe and relax. Karis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Felix. All right, let's just take a few shoulder rolls. Really trying to tune into you right now, letting go of any external distractions, being fully present, switching sides now. Good. And then just pause here. Allow your shoulder blades to just settle down your back. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up, and we're going to interlace your hands, palms face up. Take a nice little stretch as you lift through your chest, look up. Beautiful. And then take a nice stretch to one side, feel it in your side body and back, going at your own pace, moving with your breath. Beautiful. Inhale, come back through center, lift even higher. Take a nice little back bend as you look up. And then exhale, release your hands down. Inhale, lift the arms up, look at your fingertips. And then exhale, arms down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lift, reach the arms up, look up, lengthen through your arms. And then exhale, arms down. Now I want you to go ahead and place one hand on your belly and then one hand on your chest. And if it feels comfortable, maybe you close your eyes here or keep a soft gaze down. Take a nice inhale from your belly, feel your breath rising to your chest, and then slow exhale from your mouth. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale from your belly, breath rises to chest and collarbones, and then slow exhale from your mouth. Beautiful. One more time, just like that. Beautiful. And then closing your lips, breathing naturally in and out through your nose. Releasing your hands down to your knees or thighs. If your eyes are closed, maybe opening your eyes now, making any little movements in your fingertips, your toes, and coming back to this space. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to breathe, move, and be present. Back to you, Felix.
Thank you so much, Karis. I hope you could feel that. And I'm now so excited to enter our conversation. There's one more guest, by the way, that you're about to meet. Here's Dubai Future Horizons for you. If you have anything next to your screen, let's cheers. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Process.
Hello, hello, vitamin C. Mommy, mo fi jọ my melanin queen. Fine girl, no pimple. Classy and simple. Mommy, can you see me now? What I put down for my heart. Many times I didn't miss you. Gone. Need to say you wait a little longer. This our life, every day I do back. Oh, don't kill me, make me stronger. But this one week me make I no lie. But like my eye when I think of it. Much alone now you for don't jay. Oh, don't kill me, make me stronger. But this one week me make I no lie.
I hope you recognize this. The music was curated by our guests today, by our speakers, and of course we travel through the African continent as well. And I am so excited now to welcome all of them on stage. And I want to give a special shout out to someone I just skipped because I got too excited about everybody who was in the room. That never happened before, but I'm going to give him a special shout out now because he's a very important man, you know, pulling the strings behind this session and many others. He's the Chief of Youth Engagement and Strategy at UNICEF Innocenti, Shai Nidis. Shai, special shout out to you, my man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Felix. And, you know, it's great to come in now. I feel so much more relaxed after Karis came in and that Zoom experience. I was a bit afraid we were going to crash it, but it's great that we're all still here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here, Shai. And I am so excited to now have you being joined by Amna, by Lourdes, by Fisayo for our conversation. And I have to say something that is always happening that is so beautiful about Horizons is we ask all of you when you sign up on Zoom, what is a question you would like to see discussed? And we get so many great suggestions. So a part of what is happening in the next few minutes is fueled by you and by the questions that you submitted signing up for today's session. And you can also just ask questions in the chat. If there's something that comes up and you think, wait, I want to know more about this, just let us know in the chat. Just like Kuyanishkras did, he was asking, or they were asking, will there be a recording of the whole session? Of course, we are live streaming this on LinkedIn, and there will also be a video podcast on YouTube afterwards. So yes, if you miss parts of the session or you have friends that you would like to share this with, it will be available afterwards. Use the chat. Thank you for all the comments on the mindfulness and music. We much appreciate it. And now let's talk about our topic of today. Amna and Fisayo, you are currently working on many interesting things in UNICEF Innocenti and in teaching the future to next generations, to your own generation, and being youth foresight practitioners yourselves. I was hoping to start the conversation with you, understanding why there are so few of you in foresight right now. I mean, I got to know this profession as a profession of older, wider guys. That's how I got introduced to it. So I know it wasn't easy to begin with, right? To enter that as young people. And I was also raised in a way that said, if you're a young person, just be quiet. You know, speak when you're being asked. So I know there's tremendous challenges when you're a young person, you want to get into circles of grown-ups. But I want to know, because you're here, what were your entry points into this field? How did you actually make it? And I'm gonna start with you, Amna.
Thank you for the question, Felix. So my entry point was not quite what I would have imagined if I ever thought of pursuing foresight as a field. So a very fine day, I'm scrolling on LinkedIn and I come across this opportunity by School of International Futures and Teach the Future about the Next Generation Foresight Practitioner Young Voices Award. And all of those words sound a bit concerning. I'm like, what is foresight? What are they practicing? I know I'm the next generation, but what is foresight? And I go ahead, I go on the website, I see that there's an NGFP fellowship for 18 and above. And I'm like, dang it, I can't apply. I'm 15 right now. And then I scroll to the bottom and it's like, oh, with Teach the Future, we're releasing the Young Voices Award for the first time this year. So this is back in 2021. I just took you to a memory from 2021 when I was 15. And the way my face lit up when I saw it was for under 18, because a lot of the time when I was applying for opportunities or programs, it's always 18 and above, 18 and above. And I'm like, okay, I have to just wait till I turn 18, but what do I do until then? And I was so excited. I applied to the award. This was the only time I've ever done something without really knowing what I was getting myself into, because prior to that, I had my own initiative working with girls in my community back in Pakistan. And I would apply for more UN Sustainable Development Goal programs or community development opportunities. So this was quite different for me. So I did take the leap, and that has been the best decision, if not one of the best, but the best decisions I've ever made applying for the award. And then I actually did win. I got a $500 cash prize towards my project. And then the community that followed after winning the award was just so welcoming. The team at Teach the Future welcomed me into the Teach the Future community and provided me with tons of opportunities. So I remember going to a festival virtually in the Philippines because this is COVID, so we can't be going in person, and other opportunities like podcasts with the other winners, and just knowing that there are people out there today that support my work and believe in my potential, even though I might not have that level of credibility or certifications or maybe, an organization that I was connected to, and I did join Teach the Future. I decided that this is something I would want to learn more about and explore. So I joined Teach the Future as a team member back in January 2022. I helped with organizing World Futures Day since then. The NGFP Awards myself, now I get to co-organize with Lisa Giolani. She's on the call as well. Shout out, Lisa. And I just get to work with so many amazing young people as part of our Young Voices network that I remember talking to Lisa about that we have so less representation of young people in the field. And as someone who has just joined it and is still navigating, even till date, I feel like there's so much I still need to continue learning and exploring. And I get to do that with my peers and everyone in the field, which is so inspiring. But I realized that, yes, we don't have a lot of young people. And how can we change that? So Young Voices Network was a direct result of these questions that you did ask me, Felix. And
Link is in the chat.
Oh yeah, I can put it in the chat.
No, a link is already in the chat. So
oh, the link is already in the chat.
Lourdes
Okay,
was
cool.
so kind to share it. Yes, and
Thank you, Lourdes.
there's also many of you who would like to work with UNICEF, which is fantastic. So if our UNICEF Innocenti colleagues here who are in the room could maybe share some resources on how to make that work, that would be fantastic. And Amna, what I hear from you is you were really scrappy. You were looking everywhere. You were applying everywhere. You also told me preparing for the session that you went on LinkedIn and you got kicked out because LinkedIn thought you were too young. But I also learned through that LinkedIn is actually available when you're 16. I didn't know that. So I can only recommend for anybody who's in the room who is 16 and over, go on LinkedIn and look for these opportunities, look for the people that are here right now. We shared all the LinkedIn links in the Zoom chat and on LinkedIn as well on our live stream. and connect and be scrappy and apply everywhere you can. And Amna, you're an example for, you're now doing so many things parallel. I would have never been able to do this at your age, by the way. Many things in parallel right now, and you're helping so many other young people to get into the field. Fisayo, how is it actually for you? How did you get into this? How did you make this first leap and open this first door for yourself?
Honestly, Felix, I would say my entry point was actually more question and curiosity based. This was because this was back then in 2020, actually, lockdown, COVID, and the rest of that. And just before COVID struck and it became, we had the total lockdown, or I was working with farmers as a farmer myself at the time. I had a business, a small enterprise doing the farming, and then also working with other farmers in the north central part of Nigeria, and seeing how could we improve their standard of living, improve their agronomic practices and the rest of that. And I was faced with this challenge of short-term thinking because the farmers were thinking about what could we do right here, right now, and there was no longer-term thinking about what happens 2 years from now, 3 years, 5 years. What does the future even look like for my children or grandchildren? Those were conversations that were not coming up. And I had lots of questions. How do I approach this? How do I answer this? And as someone who was so passionate and who is still passionate about social impact and how that can also sort of affect, create certain economic outcomes, I was bothered. So I was looking for answers. I was on this journey of searching for answers, and I got to be a part of Acumen Academy, trying to learn how to address some of these challenges. Then I came across this post on Slack, call for application for the Walkabout Prize Award in 2020. And I looked at it foresight. Everything they were describing sort of resonated with me, but I was still a bit confused. So I applied in 2020, then I did not get the award because I'm someone that will not give up. The next year, I went to do some research, reading certain resources, reaching out to people. What does this mean? How do you watching various YouTube videos, TED Talks about foresight and all? Then I applied again. This time around, I got the award, the Walkabout Prize Award. That was for young people between the ages of 18 to 25. And my project was Farmers Futures Project, majorly based on farmers. And I was working with older people because those are the categories of people that you would find in food system, working at the grassroots, practicing agriculture and the rest of that. So getting into this, getting into the community, getting the award, I got the award. I got to interact with the community members as well. I volunteered to support other people's projects, and I received support as well. The idea was to implement my project in Nigeria alone, but working with other people, I also realized I could implement this in Kenya. I could implement this in South Africa. I could implement this in Rwanda. And that was just what I did. And from there, I received professional support to ground myself in foresight tools, the practices, the approach, and all other things. And the journey just went on to eventually being a part of UNICEF, where I am equally supporting other young people who are trying to get into foresight and thinking, how do I come into this? And we have this Youth Foresight Fellowship, which is more or less like an entry point. And we have a research that was published, which was the work of other young people. So my experience is not the only one that you can make reference to. We also have 12 other amazing experiences that you can make reference to, and the link will be in the chat.
Yeah, but I what I hear from you and what I also see in the chat, right? A lot of people are asking, how can I work with UNICEF? Because it's such an aspiring brand, and so many people are always trying to find these doors. And what I hear from you, both from you, Amna and Fisayo, is there's a certain sense of luck to your stories, maybe a certain sense of randomness that you came over across a post or across someone who told you something. So when I look at Chai and Lourdes right now, would you like to comment on this? Would you like to comment on why there is too few young people in foresight from your perspective, and why it's still seemingly a bit random in how amazing, brilliant people like Amna and Fisayo then actually end up getting into it? who would like to start? Lourdes, you were first. Unmuting first.
So why are there so many young people in foresight? I think we will have more and more, because right now there are many graduate programs, master's degree programs that are teaching foresight, future thinking, with design, and with many. So I think we will have more and more. But still, foresight and future studies is not very well known. It's not a mainstream topic. We are getting there. And now with the UN Summit of the Future and UN 2.0 encouraging future thinking as a skill for the future, we hope that we will have more. So I wanted to say that.
Interesting. So you're saying that, yes, it was way too few, but at least it's getting better. Shai, would you also like to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Lourdes's reflection here. I mean, I think that on one hand, I mean, even like adults maybe have not heard that much about foresight. And even though there is a thriving foresight and futures community, I think, you know, when it comes to, if we look at it historically, maybe there's been some access barriers on one hand also. I know we're going to speak a bit about that today. So I do think that when we look at foresight, we also need to look at kind of the story of the evolution of that field, and how, you know, what is the purpose? Why do we imagine children, young people being involved in it? For what purpose?
And Lourdes, back to you, because Teach the Future is, of course, all about saying, if you want to integrate foresight into what the youth is doing and embed it into the next generation, you have to bring it to schools. And there were many people signing up for today's session. And I just now say Viva actually posting in the chat, who are already trying to do that work. Viva is writing, very few people in my home country, India, even know about this. I'm trying to work with young people to get them into it. We also had Charlie from the UK. We had Mauricio from Mexico and many others sign up asking, how is this actually going to work? How can we enhance the inclusion of futuring in schools, in universities? And are there any good examples around the world that we could look at and show our peers and say, look, it's possible? So Lourdes, could you maybe share some examples for us how this actually can work?
Yeah, sure. So hi to Vibha. Vibha is part of Teach the Future community in India. She's just starting working with the schools there and trying by herself and with her team to include future thinking in education. But she discovered future thinking last year. She's a psychologist herself, and now she's trying to bring this to her country. So thank you, Vibha, for that. I would say that how can we bring more future thinking to education? Sadly, it needs to be top down. So what we are doing it right now is bottom up. We are trying to go school by school, youth by youth, teacher by teacher. But if we want to create a movement, it needs to come from governments, from ministries of education, bringing these skills into the classrooms. Because right now we can only work with private schools that have more agility to innovate in their curriculum, more flexibility to open the curriculum. But for public schools, it's really tied to the government and to the ministries of education. So I would say that a good way to include futures is to work with the governments and to work in research. So everyone that is in the academy, in the universities, we need more research related to how youth working with foresight, how this helps for them to be more prepared for the future. So I will leave it there.
And are there already countries or cities where you say, look at them, they are doing it?
Yeah. We have individual schools here and there. We have Turkey, we have Barcelona, we have many in the US, we have Singapore, we have Philippines. So we have Brazil, we have many schools, but government trying to include this. We have Finland. Finland is one of the best examples of bringing futures in the curriculum. They also developed the futures consciousness scale to try to measure somehow how our consciousness when thinking about the future works. Singapore and Philippines are also trying to institutionalize it, but we don't have many examples of bringing this country level.
And I think what Ricardo is just sharing here is very telling for also your journey, right? Ricardo is trying to implement foresight in higher education. It's very hard in public schools, so we brought it to private schools. So private schools are the ones who are benefiting most of this, which of course creates inequalities. And I wonder, Shai, if you want to talk about this, because you're looking at this from a completely different angle. You're looking at this integrating youth into foresight from an angle of how can youth actually support the design of policies, of what's being done in government. So from your end, how does that actually work at the moment? Are there any successful examples that are also maybe inspiring for people like Ricardo or for the many youth that are joining us here where they can be a part of?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important to think about also that the context that we're in, right? If we think about this backdrop of increased political polarization, the climate crisis, the rise of populist movements, but also this increased distrust towards institution, it really is more important than ever to find ways to support and elevate young people's access to spaces of influence so that they can contribute to their community, to their society, to their country, and ultimately to their futures. But young people's ideas and visions for the future are often missing in the spaces where decisions about their future are being made.
Yeah.
There's this interesting point that only 2.6% of parliamentarians are under 30 years old. So
2.6%.
Yeah, so so they are mostly missing in these spaces, and so we're looking at it from this angle. So there is a need for us to build intergenerational working relationships that can really narrow the gap between those in power and the lived experiences of children and young people. So this would allow us to promote and build more intergenerational justice. And at the same time, we feel that it's also an opportunity to advocate for more long-term thinking in policy making. So in a way, this is what's exciting about the Pact for the Future, which was approved only 6 weeks ago by member states here in the United Nations, where world leaders adopted it at the Summit of the Future. So there's two things there that I would highlight very related to this, which is number one, a really strong call to action for meaningful youth engagement in policy and decision-making processes at all levels. And second of all, it emphasizes the importance of strategic foresight in addressing global challenges by creating a more agile and forward-thinking UN that can support countries, so member states, in navigating this increasingly complex and evolving global issues. So that's for us, that's why we do youth foresight really here to advance the child rights agenda, because young people are a key stakeholder group in order to advance the child rights agenda. And really now we really have this mandate in place that's really solidified.
That's fantastic. I mean, there's always talk about the UN and how much these frameworks can actually do, but this is the first time that this was officially adopted by all the member nations, that youth engagement and policy is now basically becoming mandatory. It has to be a thing. It's written on paper. It's there and everybody has signed it. And I think that's fascinating. And now we have to hold all the stakeholders accountable and say, you signed up for this, you need to do it. And it's fascinating to see, of course, on the other end, people like Vrishank, who just shared in the chat, as a student in my school, I've been able to start a Futures Club, grades 9 to 10, where I conduct weekly sessions that introduce futures thinking through learning and games. This was one way of making a change and bringing futures thinking to the youth around me. Congrats, Vrishank, that's amazing. Please share more about this. And I see also many other people in the community already reaching out to you and reacting. And Lacrima is sharing the situation where I live in Mozambique is increasingly dire. Many people do not even have access to the basic things that they would need that would secure their futures in a just in their living environments. And I feel there is so much work that needs to be done before we get into a point where we can actually do futures thinking together. And I think Khetat from Burma, Myanmar is also sharing that there is so many places, as you said, Shai, in the world right now where the youth doesn't even feel they are being heard or connected because the situation is just so difficult. So I hope that what we're going to do today as a exercise together maybe helps a little bit, helps you to feel better and helps you to be hopeful. I said in the beginning to Iman, did you bring your pen and paper? And Iman is smiling right now. That means she has her pen and paper. No, and Shai,
I didn't leave my chair. How am I gonna go get it? Okay, I'm gonna go get it. Okay, I'll be right back.
do it. And Shai, Amna, Fisayo, and Lourdes, do you have yours? You have yours ready. Amazing. Did somebody else use the time here to bring their pen and paper? Manish, Christina, I'm looking at you. Yes, and Lori, Gioti. Wow, many of you are like, I'm ready. Tell us what to do. So, what are we going to do? We would like to ask you and everyone in the room to leave a message for the next generation in your region. If you could leave one message right now for the next generation in your region, what would that be? And we would ask you to put it on an actual piece of paper with a real pen. And we will make space for your messages in just a minute. We'll give you a moment to think, and then we close the session together. If you could leave a message for the next generation in your region, what would it be? If you have written down your message already, you can also hold it up in the camera and we will see you. Manish is already done. Manish, thank you. All right. So if you have written down your message, and if you have managed to get that pen and paper ready, we hope that you want to join us on stage and actually share your message. How do you do that? In the Zoom menu, there is a so-called reactions button. And that reactions button gets you to raise your hand. When you raise your hand, we see you on top of the Zoom list, and we see this little hand in the corner of your Zoom window. And if you raise your hand, we will ask you to join us on stage and share your message on stage with us. Who is up for reading their message to us on stage? I think Manish was one of the first. Manish, maybe you'd like to start. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So my message was simply, you are enough, because I know there are a lot of kids out there, younger people, who are afraid that they don't have the skills to cope with climate change and a different type of planet in the future. So that was my message for younger people in my region.
Thank you. That's very, very, very kind to share that, Manish. And thank you for being here. Tracy, welcome to the show. What is your message?
Is be bold and work with compassion and intention.
Be bold and work with compassion and intention. Thank you, Tracy, and thank you for being here. Busiziwe, welcome to the show. What is your message for the next generation in your region?
This is Busiziwe from South Africa. My message is hope is not lost. I've been watching The Walking Dead with all the zombies this week, and I was thinking, in such a world where hope should look lost, we have the innovation and the tools and the imagination to make things possible in the future, even though hope would look lost.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Busiziwe. Shout out to South Africa. And Lori, welcome to the show. What is your message to everybody?
Mine says, history is helpful, but the future is unwritten.
We are living their history now, and I think they can learn a lot from it, but I don't want them to look at what's happening right now and think that that determines what's possible. The future is for them to write.
History is helpful, but the future is unwritten. So true. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for sharing here. Lisa. Hi, Lisa from Teach the Future. Welcome to the show. What is your message, Lisa? I'll read it for you. Be curious, reach out to Teach the Future. We are here for youth, and it's their future too. Thank you, Lisa. This is beautiful. And thank you for being part of Horizons today. And I'm going to call Jyoti. Jyoti, welcome. What is your message?
So I think it's getting blurred, so I will speak that.
Yes, of
So
course.
my message is that keep knocking on the door and right opportunity will come to you, because as a young person, sometimes we think that our age is obstacle and where we are residing, our location is obstacle. So in my opinion, we should keep knocking on the door and right at the right time, we'll get the right opportunity. Thank you.
Wow. Yes. And I feel like this is also what's happening in this session. Many of you connecting for the first time, use this forum and connect with our speakers. Keep knocking on those doors. It's how all of us who are on stage today get to where we need to be. Thank you so much, Jyoti. And Samir, welcome to the show. Samir is next. What is your message for us, Samir? I think you're still on mute, Samir, so I'll ask you to unmute, and I will ask Cabello to come and join us on stage. Cabello, welcome to the show. What is your message for us?
My message to the youth is that future is not a place that we headed to, but the future is the place that we're creating right now, and the journey of 1,000 miles start with one step.
Thank you. And Cabello, if you want to put that in the chat as well, please do, so we can save your message there. Thank you so much for being a part of Horizons. Hitet is here. Welcome to the show, Hitet. I hope I pronounce your name somewhat correctly. What is your message for the next generation in your region?
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, my name is Tawi Out, a Burmese name, so that I feel really honored to be here. Message that to my next generation is just to never dies, because in our country we're suffering like from the military coup, and yeah, that's why I would like to let them escape from this fear and like the place that like hell. So that's why I hope that we will surely get the justice in our futures, and I believe they can do it. So yeah, that's why I wrote it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate you sharing your presence with us. And Birungi is next on the Zoom list. Or Cabello is here. Cabello just unmuted. Cabello, please welcome us and join us on stage, and then we'll call Birungi up. Hi, or Cabello, you were already there, right? Sorry, I'm getting confused. So many of you are here. Birungi, it's your place. And maybe Cabello is here as well. Birungi, what is your message to everybody? Birungi, I think you're from Uganda, right? I think I saw you before when you said hi.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Hello.
So my message for the youth in the future is you are the architects of tomorrow, the dreamers and doers who will shape the world in ways we can only imagine. We only begin to imagine. The challenges you face will be different from those before you, but the power to overcome them lies within you. Never underestimate the strength of your ideas or the impact of your actions. That's my
Wow.
message.
That was poetry. Thank you so much, Birungi, for sharing this. If you want to put in the text in the chat as well, please do so.
Sure,
And
I
thank
will.
you for being a part of Horizons today. We really appreciate you being here. Christina is next. Christina, welcome to Horizons. What is the message you brought to the show today?
Hello everyone, one more time from Turkmenistan. I actually started to write the poem also, but then I decided to stop. So the full version I will write So the most important part is I believe in the brightest future of us in our country and never stop, open new doors and leave no one and no opportunity behind.
Thank you. I think that is a poem still. So thank you, Christina, and thank you for joining from Turkmenistan and being a part of today's session. I have an idea now for anybody else who would like to share. Please switch your cameras on, because then I can see that you're actually there sharing your presence and you're ready to share like Samir just did. Samir, welcome to Horizons. What is the message you brought for us today?
Thank you very much, Felix. My message is that I have write like a poem. Okay, it's quite long, lengthy.
Oh yes.
I wanted to summarize, give a sentence. A spirit, calm yet vivid, a soul both young and wise. So the future generations who are just looking, I suggest them that keep your spirit as calm and as vivid, and both the soul young and wise. And that much, though it is long, I don't want to take much time. Thank you very much, Flex.
Thank you so much for being a part of this, and thank you for sharing. Beautiful. And we can already see how youth can be integrated into foresight. All the people that are joining on stage right now have such important messages, and we'll keep it going here for a few more minutes, going a little bit over the hour. And please switch your cameras on so I can see that you're ready to share. Dimfina is next. Welcome to Horizons. What is the message that you brought for us today?
So my message today is believe in yourself. I don't know if you can see that. So
Yes.
in everything, you need to believe in yourself, because if you're not believing in yourself, then who will? And that's where it starts from. So if you can see the future, then you can build towards it. Otherwise, you'll not be able to do what you don't believe in.
Thank you. Such an important message. And thank you for joining us, Dimfina. We really appreciate it. I would say the next camera that I see switched on is from Grace. Hi, Grace. Welcome to Horizons. What is the message you brought for us today?
Thank you. So my message, if you can see, is to be confident. I want the future generation to be confident on themselves and be the change they want to see. Don't let anyone dim their light. Thank you.
Yes, Grace, thank you so much. That was short and sweet and so powerful. Thank you, Grace. And I'm going to call Mary to join us next. Hi, Mary. Welcome to Horizons.
Hello from Russia, and my message today is be active, because in the future the active life was really good, and I can say the future depends on us. And thank you for possibility to say something.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, and thank you for sharing this message that is heartwarming.
Thank you.
And I would like to call Jane to join us on stage next. Jane, welcome to Horizons.
So I'm from here in London, and this is more a message from what we're doing, I suppose, to people in the future, but to say that we're thinking about you and working to improve your opportunities and futures.
Thank you. That's very kind. And this is what today is all about. It's an intergenerational dialogue. Thank you, Jane. And thank you for being here and sharing your presence. We have Xensila and Ricardo. And then I think we have the honor to close it out with Fabiana today. Xensila, welcome to Horizons. What is the message you brought for us?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Jensila from Albania, and my message for the future generation would be to never underestimate the power you hold to create change. The world needs you.
Thank you. And I hope you do it as well. And thank you for joining us, Xenzila. And Ricardo is our pre-last guest to join us on stage. Hi, Ricardo. Welcome to Horizons.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I have a message for the future youth.
which is basically one word, is self-awareness. I think they should become more self-aware of what they are capable of and what their potential is. And that means that they can come as they are. I think that is something that they should actually tattoo on their brain.
Thank you. Yes, let's come as we are. And we're about to, as we are, close the session here together, but not without Fabiana, who raised her hand. Hi, Fabiana. Welcome to Horizons.
Hello, I'm from Brazil. Well, mine is here. I think they should think globally, but act locally, because they feel that they have the power, they have the protagonism to go forward, and with a lot of hope and courage, because courage for us is act with the heart.
Yes. Obrigado, Fabiana.
Thank you.
Bom dia
Obrigada.
to you. And I would like to call our guests to join me back on stage. Amna, Fisayo, Shai, Lourdes, to close us out today after this storm of amazingness that we have experienced here from so many youth from around the world. Amna, Fisayo, you were listening. How do you feel right now? Amna, I'm going to start with you. Sorry, I
Okay.
addressed you both at the same time.
No, that's good. This was just super hopeful to listen to and hear both young people and older people talk about the future in such a positive way. Looking at the state of the world, you often sometimes can lose hope in what is going to happen in the future and what is happening in the present. And just hearing that there's still so much positivity and hope for the future really brings joy to my heart. So I'm so glad that everyone here could share and do this exercise. It was a great opportunity for us to all reflect on what we think is important as well.
Fisayo, anything you would like to add?
I think one of the things that was surprising for me is how everyone's message is unique and different, regardless of whether it's coming from a younger person or coming from an older person. And that is really inspiring. And sharing that message out to the world and taking action on it, I think that's my challenge to everyone, because I see everyone has a voice. Everyone was eager to share this message. And I think we should also have that attitude to act on this and also help us, let's work together to achieve that great mission of securing the future for future generations.
Yes, and I know that it's a lot more that needs to be discussed around this topic. We just scratched the surface. But Shai, when you just saw what happened here, and when you think about what's happening at Dubai Future Forum, where you are co-curating together with Lourdes. Oh yes, hello, who is it? Hi, Kurat. Hello, thanks for just jumping in. Let's get you on stage. Sorry if we left you out.
Yes, I want to say कि be honest, believe in yourself, and give opportunity to the Pakistan as well in UNICEF.
Thank you. Message received. Thank you, Kurat. And Shai, I was just going to ask you, when you think about the forum and everything that's coming next, what is the call to action you would like to give to the youth in the room? How can they get more involved, and how can they get better involved, and how can we support them better?
Thanks, Felix. I have a lot of thoughts here because I guess on one hand, I would say, let's also remember that we shouldn't put the burden always on young people to make the world a better place. And so it's really important that we also take responsibility, right? When we think about intergenerational justice and collaboration and solidarity, I think that's like a critical message that I would like to highlight. And yeah, that's one of them. The other thing I would say is we're very excited to see many of you at the Dubai Future Forum in under a couple of weeks. We are actually going to be launching the State of the World's Children there, which is focused on the future of childhood, looking at 2050, and we have an exciting activation there also which we've done in collaboration with the Dubai Future Foundation and with the Artifact Group, and just really exciting stuff happening there. But I also wanted to answer to your original question and just say that hearing people's messages gave me a lot of hope. And it reminded me that the foresight community is an amazing community. Like, I only started learning about it only 2.5 years ago. It's been a steep learning curve for me, but I was shocked to see just how open the arms were of this community, how open it was, and how much hunger there was within the community to make foresight more participatory, more transformational, more in service to changing the world for a better place, and just really, really curious and open to seeing how we can be more inclusive of the perspectives and lived experiences of children and young people. And that just it continues kind of like giving us a lot of energy on our side, on the UNICEF and Urgenti side. So just a big thank you to the community, because you really show up.
Thank you. And you have so many beautiful examples for the work in your Innocenti group from all around the world. Some of them are here in the room right now. Shout out to you. And I hope that you can continue to share the resources. And I thought your call to action was really powerful, saying, no, it's not the young people that always have to do the stuff and be scrappy and knock on doors. And you know, it's the older generations that have to open these doors in the first place. And I think that's a really, really important thing to take away for everybody who's also watching right now, who's working in foresight and who's maybe not in their teens or tweens and is watching and thinking, what could I do to open more doors for the people that I'm sharing the space with right now? So thank you, Shai. And to be honest with you, I just want to dance it out today and give you all good music in the end. But I also want to make sure that we hear from our speakers before we close. And I think we just lost Fisayo here for a second. I hope she comes back. If you want to hold your notes up that you just wrote, I hope we can read them. That would be beautiful. And be a part of shaping the future you wish to see in the world. You are the leaders that will shape the future, believe, create, and influence. And Lourdes, listen to each other with open hearts. You know, it sounds all so easy, but these are all very important messages. And Lourdes, I also wanted to give you the mic before we close out today. What is a message you would like to leave with everybody who is here? And then we'll get Iman on stage for a final message as well before we dance it out a little bit.
Thank you, Felix. I think it's super important and it's so inspiring, the session today. Thank you all that made this possible. If we really want meaningful youth engagement, we need to prepare youth to meaningful participate. And this is also thinking that teaching them how to think systematically about the future. And what we think is that the most scalable way to do so is through the classroom. So including futures in education will be really helpful if we want meaningful youth engagement.
Yes. And thank you, Lourdes. And Fisayo, you were just gone for a second, so we missed out on your message. Do you still want to hold it up? Wait, sorry, your mic was off for a second. Do you still want to show us your message?
Yes, I have my here. I think I'll make my so that this gets out there to the world. Be curious. Yes. The future is yours to create.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Iman, we won't close without you. I think the music is coming back in the background from DJ Hourglass, because we all want to invite you on a little dance party here to dance towards the forum. Iman, what would you like to leave us with?
I'm super inspired by this session. I'm super inspired. I'm super excited. It makes me even more excited for the 2024 edition of the forum. Thank you to everyone for this long journey between 2023 and 2024. I hope this journey continues for many, many more years to come. And yeah, and let's just have a good time.
Thank you, Iman. That's what we're doing. I think we can all follow Manish, who is one of the best dancers I've ever seen in a Zoom room. And while we're doing that, we can switch off the spotlights So if you want to switch on your camera and switch to gallery view on Zoom, we will all see the dances from all around the world happening right now. This was Dubai Future Horizons for today. Wow, Liz, Jay, Jaleesa, Chris, Iman, Inas, Amna, Shai, Sayo, Lourdes, the entire Dubai Future Foundation team. Thank you. In the chat, you'll find a link to our WhatsApp community. And you can also rewatch our conversation through the Horizons video podcast. And I am happy that I had the honor to host and proudly host a session. So much beauty from all of you around the world. Thank you from my heart and from our heart here at Horizons. And now let's dance it like it's future form already, won't we?
Here come bad news, talking this and that. Yeah. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Yeah. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. Yeah. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go. Bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. I said, bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. The love is too high. Bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because